Everyone, and welcome to another episode of Paw Talk, which is our free monthly educational webinar. I'm Dwight with Centinela Feed and your moderator for tonight. And as usual, we'll be keeping the presentation to about 15 to 20 minutes with a short Q&A session at the end. So feel free to type in any questions that you have during the presentation in the chat box. And if we don't have time to get to your questions, we will be responding to all unanswered questions by email. So it gives me great pleasure to introduce Carrie Linnell from Lotus Pet Foods. Carrie is a sales manager and has been with Lotus Pet Foods for almost 9 years. And we've been carrying Lotus oven-baked kibble now for over 20 years. And a couple of things that our customers appreciate about the brand is the high level of sourcing and the fact that Lotus is still family owned and operated. So with that said, Carrie, go ahead and take it away.
All right. Thank you, Dwight. Thanks for having me. I'm excited to talk about Lotus and share all the good stuff here. So we're going to start with what makes Lotus different. Let me just get situated here. All right. So the Lotus difference. So these are the things that we're going to talk about tonight. The Lotus difference, we're family owned and operated. We're going to talk about our ingredients, our sourcing, and our transparency. And then we make an oven-baked kibble, which is pretty different. So we're going to get into the details about that. We're going to cover our family-owned cannery, which is in Torrance, California, as well as our rawery that is in the same place here. So these points here is the Lotus difference. So we'll start by talking about our sourcing of our ingredients. All of our meat and poultry are humanely raised on farms that are step 3 and 4 certified on the Global Animal Partnership. If you're not familiar with the Global Animal Partnership program, I'll give you a little rundown. It is a agency that rates farms based on how the animals are treated in their care. So steps 3 and 4 mean that the animals have enrichment, they have required time outside being free range and grazing, and it also means that there's limits on the amount of animals that can be housed per cage, just to not stress the animals out, creating just a healthier meat for our pets to enjoy. All of our meat and poultry are hormone and antibiotic free, and they are human grade. We do use fish in some of our formulas. All of our fish is wild caught. We don't have any farmed fish at all. The fish are caught by certified sustainable fishermen, and they are caught off the coast of Alaska, and the salmon is in Canada. So we use mostly small fish like sardine and pollock that helps reduce contaminants and has a higher retention of nutrients. So using the best proteins available for our pet food. And how are we going to do this? We're going to do this by producing the highest quality oven-baked kibble that is made in Canada, produce our cans at our family-owned cannery in Torrance, California, and make our raw cat food and our supplements in a safe handling environment. We also can ensure that we have third-party testing. That is for quality assurance and safe food. We test all of our food prior to being released to the stores, and we have a really excellent standard operating procedure for cleaning and then checks and balances to make sure that everything was cleaned properly so that there is no cross-contamination. So we are going to start off by talking about our oven-baked kibble and what that means and how it's different. So we believe that oven baking is the best way to make a kibble for dogs and cats. It has 40% fresh meat in each recipe, which is just the fresh meat inclusion. It's not including any of the meals or any other animal parts, but just the fresh meat. We believe that fresh meat is more biologically available for the pet's bodies to use. It has better protein retention, better vitamin retention, and a lower starch delivery. So we'll get into the details of that. So why is oven baking better than extruded? It's better because the temperature is low. So it's kind of a low and slow process. The internal temperature of the kibble only gets to 160 degrees. So that's really just hot enough to cook out any pathogens, but not hot enough to denature the nutrients from the ingredients. So The two middle pillars here is really kind of the heart and soul of an oven baking. It's 90 to 100% protein retention. So that means that the entire chain of essential amino acids is intact in the final product, and that includes taurine, and 90 to 100% vitamin retention. So all of the nutrients and the good stuff from the ingredients is still there in the final product. We have 40% fresh meat, like I said. The oven baking process just allows us to do that, so we do. So more fresh meat because we can. Your average premium brand is going to have between 18 and 20% fresh meat, and that's just because of the process that they use. It just doesn't allow for any more fresh meat, but we can, so we do. One really cool thing about an oven baked kibble is that it provides 50% less sugar. So there are some studies that have been done over at Kansas State University. And what they found is that when you take the exact same recipe and you oven bake one batch and you extrude the other batch, which is the other way of making dry kibble, is that they found that the dog and cat food metabolizes the sugars differently. So only 50% of the sugar is absorbed into the pet's body, or the glucose. So it's going to be really great for pets that have different issues, maybe with weight problems or with diabetes. It's also really good for pets that have chronic yeast infections, because we know that sugar feeds on yeast. So any way that you can cut down on the sugar will help those pets that are suffering from any yeasty issues, either in their ears or their feet or on their skin. So if any of your pets are dealing with that, an oven baked kibble is going to be the best one to go with. So we just say it's simple. Baked is best. There's no sprayed on flavors. This is actually what our kibble looks like here. So you'll see on the left-hand side, that is our regular bites. And then on the right-hand side here are our small bites. The small bites are really little. We call it an easy chew kibble because the oven baking process puts kind of like little air pockets into the kibble, and it makes the food be able to break apart really easily, or it's like an easy chew kibble. One other really cool thing is that our kibble doesn't have to have any sprayed on fats or flavorings. If you've ever fed traditional kibble, you'll notice that it has kind of like a greasy coating on it. That is usually a flavor enhancer or a palatant, which helps entice the pets to eat it. Because our meat quantity is so high at that 40%, and there's nothing being denatured in the cooking process, our kibble is just naturally delicious, so we don't have to spray on any flavorings or palatants at the end. It's really kind of like for the pets having a bowl full of treats, because it is cooked the same way as a treat, which is really nice. If you have a picky dog or a picky cat, they tend to really gravitate towards the oven bake because it is like having a bowl full of treats, which is pretty cool. We've got some really awesome soft baked dog treats. They look pretty similar to our kibble. You can see them in the window on the bags on the screen here. But they are soft baked, and they really hold true to that name. They are like a chilled cookie dough consistency. They kind of peel apart. They're really phenomenal for training. They all have liver in them, and liver can be very appealing, kind of a high value treat. So they are excellent for training, and there's only 2.5 kcal or calories per treat. So you don't have to worry about overloading your pet with our treats. But they are oven baked in the same place. All of our oven baked kibble and our treats are made up in Canada. The treats are grain free. There are 6 different flavors available, some unique proteins that aren't visible on here. We've got some venison, the lamb that's shown here with lamb tripe is really great, some fish, duck, and then we've got some chicken and turkey. These are considered a limited ingredient treat for not being a single ingredient treat. They have a really nice ingredient list that's short. They're all single protein, and they're going to be excellent for any kind of elimination diet or allergies that your pets might have. You can pick the right protein for them. All right, we're going to talk about our awesome family-owned cannery now. Our cannery is in Torrance, California, so we are local and producing the best dog and cat cans right in our cannery there. We have the highest quality human-grade fresh meat that is in our cans. All of our meat is sourced, like I said at the beginning, from farms that are step 3 and 4 on the Global Animal Partnership. We do have some unique proteins like venison that is sourced out of New Zealand. And then the other really cool protein we have is rabbit, and that one comes from Italy. So getting all the best quality proteins there in our cans. Another cool benefit and feature of our cans is that we don't add any water to any of our cans. You can see here, we put the gravy or the broth from the meat cook back into the cans, which is really cool. So it creates a more nutritious and delicious can that most cats and dogs go wild over. So there's a lot of things that we don't put in our cans. The other things that we don't put in there is there's no carrageenan and there's no guar gum. So carrageenan is a seaweed, but it's processed with harsh solvents that can cause digestive upset. So we didn't want to use that. We didn't want to put any gums in there either because those can also cause digestive upset. But what we did choose to use is something called agar agar, which is, it's also a seaweed, but it's processed with hot water. So it makes it just a healthier option. And we use this to help thicken up the cans a little bit, kind of help form them. So it's something that we had to use, and it's an excellent ingredient. I do have a little video here that I want to show you guys on our canner. You can get a glimpse into what we do and what everything looks like. So I am going to play that video for you now.
It is considered a micro cannery because we run only one line at a time. This means our canning process is very formulated focused. Our cans are made in small batches. This means we do not keep them in storage in a warehouse before they are shipped out across the country. The meat used in our cans is all human grade, USDA passed and inspected for human consumption. This high quality meat is used in all our dog and cat cans. We do not use any guar gum, xanthan gum, or carrageenan in any of our cans. We do not add any extra water to our cans. We save and use the broth that is made when we cook the meat. We will then add the oils and vitamins and minerals to the broth before we add it back to the can. We still hand batch many ingredients and chop and shred our own meats. This way we are able to ensure the best quality in each and every can.
All right, so that video gave you just a little glimpse into our cannery. Like I said a couple of times, I think that is located in Torrance, California, which is really cool to be so local and have your pet's food made kind of right in the backyard. So that's just a little glimpse in there. You can kind of see everything that we do. In our facility, we also have a raw room. We call it our rawery, and that's where we make our raw cat food and our supplements for dogs and cats. We came out with our raw cat food in 2019, and the cats have been absolutely loving it. It's a pretty unique raw format. It comes in these tubs that you see on the screen here. I like to call it a scoop and serve format. So you take the whole tub out of the freezer, you thaw it in the fridge, and then you just scoop and serve. It's self-contained. You don't have to dirty any other dishes or anything like that. So it's a really great format. The raw food is a 95% meat recipe. So that is going to include the meat from the animal and then the heart and liver from the same animal. So those three ingredients almost round out the diets nutritionally. So we don't have to have a vitamin pack in there. But what we do have are a couple of unique ingredients that help provide the micronutrients for the cat. So we use something called Chirula yeast, which is a non-active yeast that provides essential B vitamins like thiamine. We have miscanthus grass, which is a non-GMO plant that provides a really great source of insoluble fiber. And then we put dulce seaweed powder in there as well, and that provides the rest of the micronutrients without having to have a vitamin pack, which is really great. Some of the other things that we do not add into our raw cat food, we decided to skip the fruits and veggies because cats are strict obligate carnivores, so they don't necessarily need them. We wanted this to just be a meat heavy diet. And then we chose not to put any ground bone in the food either. So when you have ground bone in your food, there's not anything wrong with that, but you have to accept the values of calcium and phosphorus as the bone provides. When you eliminate the bone from the recipes, you can precisely formulate the diets to be exactly where you want with the calcium. So we chose to use a ground eggshell powder for our source of calcium to make the diet great for healthy or for growing kittens through healthy seniors. I've got also another little video here that I want to show you on the raw that will dive deeper into the different ingredients that we use and the process that we have.
Hi, this is Amanda from the Northwest.
And this is Ashley from the Midwest. Ooh, that's cold.
Today we're going to talk about the benefits and features of our raw cat food recipes.
Some may ask, why did we make raw food for cats?
We have always believed that the raw is the best way to feed your cat.
That is why it's at the top of our nutritional pet food pyramid, which makes it the best choice for feeding our carnivorous feline friends.
Cats are obligate carnivores, which means they need to be eating an animal-based protein diet with lots of meat and poultry. Lotus raw cat food recipes all have 95% meat or poultry to provide the healthiest diet possible for them.
We only use boneless cuts of meat and poultry like lamb and pork shoulders, beef chuck tenders, chicken and turkey thighs, as well as venison trim meat. Same species, whole hearts and livers help round out our recipes nutritionally by naturally supplying essential amino acids like taurine. All of our meat and poultry is human grade, free range, and humanely raised and free of hormones, antibiotics, and GMOs.
We do not add any fruits, vegetables, or ground bone to the raw recipes. This allows us to make the recipe that is nutritious and balanced for all ages of cats, from kittens to seniors.
We have added a couple of really unique ingredients for very special reasons. First, it's miscanthus grass. Have you ever heard of it?
Actually, I haven't.
Well, this is a non-GMO plant that provides an excellent source of insoluble fiber. It can help your cat who's on a raw diet make more regular trips to litter box. Miscanthus grass is also a very environmentally friendly crop.
How so?
Well, it can grow on a marginal or barren land, has low water usage and low fertilizer needs. It's non-invasive, has a high harvest yield, and is able to absorb carbon dioxide from the environment. Tarula yeast. What is that?
Well, Tarula yeast is a non-active yeast that is a great source of B vitamins, like thiamine, which are essential for a cat's overall health.
Where does it come from?
Well, Tarula yeast is grown very similar to shiitake mushrooms. It grows on wood, it's clean harvested, then cleaned, dried, and ground so we can use it.
That's a super cool ingredient.
It is.
To make sure our food is safe, we cold pasteurize every batch using pressure, not heat. Also, every batch is tested for pathogens before being released.
Just like our cans, our raw is made with love and care in our own Lotus Rawery, located in Torrance, California, where we are able to watch every step of the process.
Thanks so much for joining us, and make sure to see all of our other good videos.
All right, so that is a little glimpse into our rawery and everything that we do. One of the last things that Amanda was talking about was our cold pasteurization process, and that means that we just have a neutralizing step to make sure that there's not any pathogens in the raw food. So you can feel safe and confident in feeding our raw food to your cat and not have to worry about any pathogens being in there. So the last thing that I'm going to talk about here is our raw green tripe supplement. This is a true supplement. It's a topper, so you would have to add it to a complete and balanced diet that you already have. But raw green tripe is the lining of a cow's stomach, and it provides a lot of different nutrients. It's a very clean protein, so if you need a little boost of protein in your pet's bowl, this is a really excellent way to do so. It's jam-packed with pre and probiotics for a healthy gut, and a lot of digestive enzymes, which can help your pets absorb the nutrients better from their food. So if you haven't tried green tripe for your dog or cat, I urge you to do so to help your pets thrive. And that's what I have for you guys tonight. I do want to touch on how to transition your cat from cans or raw, or cans or kibble onto a raw food. It can be a very daunting thing to do. So the biggest thing and advice that I can offer a cat owner that wants to get their cat from either kibble or canned onto raw food is to have patience and be consistent and just keep trying. You might get lucky and your cat will transition very easily with a traditional transition. So usually you'll put a little bit of the new food in and gradually take out the old food. If you're going from kibble to raw, it might take a lot longer than a week. But as long as you're patient with your kitty and you keep offering it, cats are really big on texture. So you kind of want to get them used to the idea of it by just offering maybe like a teaspoon at a time, either next to their bowl or in their bowl, or gradually move it closer to their bowl just so they get used to the smell and all of that. So that is what I have. So I will be happy to take any questions here. Let's see, I'm going to stop sharing. And if there's any questions, I'll be happy to answer questions.
Great. Thanks a lot, Carrie. That was
Yeah.
very informative. And we have some questions here. So the first question that we have is, if other pet foods are not oven baked, then how are they made?
Yeah, so we're one of the only oven-baked pet foods that are out there, and we just chose to do that because we believe it's a better process. The other way that pet food is made, it's called extrusion. So to put it simply, there's a big tube, they put all of the ingredients in there, and then the food gets cooked very rapidly with steam and pressure. And during that process, it can denature the nutrients. So that's why we believe that oven baking is better than extrusion.
Great. All right. Let's see. We have another question. What is carrageenan and why it is important that it's not in your canned food?
So carrageenan is a type of seaweed. It creates a gelatinous material that you can put into pet food. It's in a lot of human food as well, but it's like a thickening agent. So it's going to help thicken up whatever it might be, cat food, salad dressing, things like that. But it's processed with harsh solvents, so it can create upset tummies, things like that. So it's important that we don't use that because we want our pets to thrive and have the best life they can.
Got it. All right. We've got some questions coming through on the chat here as well. So let's see. Hi, my cats love your raw frozen venison. They are eating it every day, and I have two questions. One, they aren't that interested in other meats. I try to give them another type of meat once a week or so, but they aren't crazy about it. Is this a problem for their nutrition?
All right, so yes, our venison is a very popular flavor, and we hear a lot that kitties love it and go through this. I would not say that it is a problem for their nutrition. It is a complete imbalanced diet, but I do recommend getting some other proteins in there. The beef that we offer may be a really nice transition because it's still a red meat and it offers different types of nutrients if that's what you're looking for. But I always recommend having rotation of protein.
Got it. And then the second question is, does it have BPA in the plastic, and are you open to exploring safer packaging?
So all of our packaging is BPA free. So we believe that we're using the safest packaging that we can right now. The packaging for the raw is also recyclable. It's number 2 recyclable.
Awesome. All right, we have some other questions. Do you use HPP for the raw food?
We do use HPP for the raw food. So that's the cold pasteurization process that we talked about. We just wanted to make sure that we had a neutralizing step so that we didn't run into any issues with pathogens.
Okay. And is freeze-dried similar?
So we don't have a freeze-dried formula. I do not know a lot about freeze drying. So I would say that frozen raw is better than freeze-dried because it's less processed.
Got it. Let's see. Can you explain the ingredients in the senior dog kibble?
Yes, I would love to explain the ingredients in our senior dog kibble. So I did not touch on that at all. But our senior dog kibble is very special and very unique to us. So it's a chicken and rice-based diet. It's fresh meat only. There's no meal in it at all. So it actually creates a food that has a very low ash content. And ash is not an ingredient that's added to the food, but it is what would be left over if it was burned. So everything has ash content, but The kidneys is what processes that, and phosphorus, calcium, magnesium is what makes up ash. And when you have low values, it can be easy on the kidneys. It doesn't overwork the kidneys.
Got it. And then the last question we have pertains to, let's see, open farm is human grade, but doesn't say oven baked. So what's the difference? And you kind of touched on that with the difference between oven baked and extruded kibble.
Yeah, so open farm does use human grade ingredients, but they are extruded. So it's just the different way of cooking. And like I said, we do believe that oven baking is better than extruding.
Let's see. Can we visit the Torrance location?
Can you visit the cannery? That is a question for Darren, but I don't think we're doing tours anymore.
Yeah. And let's see, we'll just take this one last question. Is your cat kibble high in phosphorus?
The cat kibble is not high in phosphorus, actually. It's about an average of 1%.
Great. So good at preventing like UTIs and kidney issues, right?
Yes, it is actually really good for that. It has, so the amount of fresh meat that's in our cat kibble helps create an environment in the urinary tract system that bacteria should not want to grow. So it creates a pH of about 6.5. So that's a good environment for healthy bacteria and a healthy urinary tract.
Got it. Awesome. All right. Well, that's all the time that we have for tonight. Thank you again, Carrie, for your time and educating our guests. And be sure to keep an eye out in your email inboxes or on our social media pages for next month's invitation to Paw Talk, where we will be discussing the importance of proper dental health care and our anesthesia-free dental cleaning service, Breath Savers. So a link for a short survey has been posted in the chat box, where upon completion, you will receive a discount code for 20% off on all Lotus products, in addition to your pet's favorite toys and treats. And you can either use this coupon in-store or online. If you are attending our webinar outside of Southern California, we will be sending you a separate discount coupon that you can redeem at your local Lotus retailer. So thanks again, Carrie, and thank you for joining everyone, and we'll see you next month. Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.